Hello and welcome to Recyclist. I'm your host, Eric Provost, and I'm being joined once again by a very special guest. Please help me welcome to the show right now the newly appointed Director of Engineering for Chester County Solid Waste Authority up in Pennsylvania, Mr. Chris Toevs. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
Hey, Eric, happy to be here and be a part of this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on your new appointment.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a very humbling time for me right now.
I imagine big past couple of months for you. So taking on this huge new responsibility. Congratulations on beginning your doctorate at Penn State,
Yes, yeah,
and congratulations on being named one of the recipients for SWANA's Young Professional of the Year.
yeah. It's definitely been a whirlwind of a couple of months. As a YP in the industry, it's an exciting time to be a YP. That's for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a young professional, being a director of engineering, I mean, what oh, in your career, what has it taken to get to this point already, to the point where you're already a director of engineering and still receiving young professional awards? What kind of drive, what kind of, you know, motivation do you need to wake up with in the morning? How much coffee do you drink, essentially, is what I'm asking.
Usually by 10 o'clock, I have about 3 cups of coffee. That's for sure. But yeah, I'd say that a lot of my drive and energy really has been fed from the engineering field as a whole. My dad was an engineer, professional engineer, and so I grew up trying to learn from him at a young age. And now I'm currently also a licensed professional environmental engineer. I went to Penn State where I graduated with a biological engineering degree in 2018, and then I went on to get my master's in 2022. And so that drive to want to learn more and expand my technical expertise really helped feed my energy to try and seek out new opportunities. And combining that with the solid waste industry, I grew up on a farm. And as a kid, I saw firsthand how people and the environment come together. And so whenever this solid waste job came across my desk 6 years ago, it just seemed like the perfect combination of the values I learned as a kid and the technical expertise that I've been trying to craft as an adult.
Was it nice for you to be able to? Obviously, you just mentioned that big Penn State alum. Chester County is up there in Pennsylvania. Was something you were specifically trying to do? Was kind of stay in the area, or was that just Providence?
I definitely wanted to stick around in the area. Like I said, my grew up on a farm. My family farm is in Pennsylvania here, and I still go back and help my dad around with some activities. But Pennsylvania's always had like a really nice place in my heart. It's one of the few places in America where you can get all four seasons, and so that's definitely a draw.
As somebody, as somebody who lives in Florida, what are seasons?
Well, yeah, my mother-in-law lives in Florida, so yeah, I get it. I'm jealous though because during Christmas in Florida, it just seems magical to me too. So you have that on us.
Yeah, my entire father's side of my family is from Pennsylvania, so I'm incredibly familiar with the area as well as the Philadelphia Eagles. But yeah, I'm happy for you that you were able to stay in the area, and it certainly looks like it's working out to your benefit. But you mentioned a few seconds ago about coming together with the people, and I was very inspired to see that up there at Chester County, how active you guys are within the community. You just scroll through your social media for a few seconds. I saw that you guys recently did sponsored a golf outing. You've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but I know there's something specific that you guys did recently that kind of has a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I know recently we just unveiled a new nine-hole disc golf course here at Chester County.
At the
It's
landfill.
Yes, at the landfill. And it's something that I don't think many people think of landfills as having this type of recreational activity. Something that has been instilled in me since I've been here was the welcoming of the population into our facility. We have nature trails that span almost 6 miles here at the site. and we wanted to expand those nature trails by implementing a disc golf course. So, a local disc golf club in Lancaster County, PA, came to us with this idea. And over the course of 3 years, we met with volunteers who came out to our facility. We walked the area where we wanted to have the disc golf course. And through community engagement, we were able to create a disc golf course that was challenging to professionals, but also welcoming to newcomers as well. So
Yeah.
over the summertime, we did construction, and we had a opening event with a ribbon cutting, and we ended up getting about 50 participants to come out and try the course on that first day, and it was kind of crazy. Remember just kind of blacking out a little bit because everything was happening so quickly. But my mom and my wife were there helping with the event, and everybody who came to the event just spoke wonders about the engaging with the landfill in a way that they never thought possible. Coming out to enjoy the green space. The disc golf course is in amongst the trees, so it's nice and shaded, and it also creates a challenging atmosphere too. So it was really great to see the whole idea come to fruition at the end.
Yeah, and I know that you've told me that you very much credit SWANA as an organization for helping inspire you to get involved within the community. And I should say, especially in reference to the award that you're about to be given, we're recording this before Archon up in Columbus, Ohio, where you're going to be presented the award. So if anybody out there is listening to this within the first couple weeks of it going live, go ahead and join us in Columbus. Go ahead and join us at Archon. Come out and see it. It's going to be a ton of really interesting presentations and tours and awards and all kinds of stuff. So, still selling tickets, still able to get some flights and hotels available in the area. So, yeah, join us at Archon if you're able to. But just very quickly, how did the idea of disc golf come to kind of be? Where did that come from?
Well, I think it came from our at Chester County. We serve 49 different municipalities and communities here with a population of about 450,000 people, and so we have access to a large area of people, and we're on the edge of the county. And so one thing that we were looking for was how can we engage with the public in a positive way. And disc golf, I was on one of the disc golf apps that the volunteers clued me into. And I was looking at where Chester County is, and the closest disc golf course was over half an hour away. So if you were in little old Honeybrook, Pennsylvania, you had to drive over half an hour just to go out and play some disc golf. And so I really saw that there was a need in the local community for this type of recreational activity. But also, it doubled as engaging well with our greater residence area who are in our service area.
Nice. I told you this before we started recording, but I'd love to take part in the disc golf course myself if I'm ever able to come visit you guys up there in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have you. It's definitely a unique experience, and hopefully we maintain our 4.5 star review on UDisc app.
Disc golf was too hard, 1 star, and it is weirdly difficult because you're essentially just trying to throw a frisbee with the accuracy of a golf ball. It's insane. A lot of people may think it's kind of strange, but it takes a lot of genuine skill, and it might be a little bit harder than some people think. I fully recommend going out and trying it once yourself, folks.
But
But we just talked about Archon very briefly. Of course, you're going to be receiving the Young Professional of the Year award, but that is not all you are going to be doing at Archon, sir. You have some very interesting thoughts about how to progress the industry, and I'd like to kind of get into what I feel like is going to be the meat of this conversation. You are pretty enamored with the potential for AI in terms of its capability and its its potential use within solid waste administration. Now, I've got to say, personally, as a broadcaster, someone from a more creative and content creation background, AI does make me a little nervous, but I have always lauded its potential to to assist administratively in being able to crunch and analyze numbers and situations that we might just not be able to see. So I'm really interested to kind of get into this and speak with you, because specifically the presentation that you are giving at SWANA regards the quote unquote ethical use of AI. So how about we get into that?
Yeah, at Archon, if any of your listeners are interested, I'm hosting a session on Friday that's titled Planning with Intelligence: Ethical AI Applications in Modern Solid Waste Management. And really, what my presentation boils down to is looking at the use of artificial intelligence through an ethical lens. And it's really supporting this idea that AI is supporting human expertise and not replacing it. And I think that's a huge point to touch on.
In what way? I mean, obviously, I don't want you to regurgitate your entire presentation, but yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of engineers out there that would like their jobs a little easier. Although I'm sure there's a lot of engineers and people out there that may be concerned that AI may potentially replace them. So, should those fears warranted? Do you think ultimately the final solution is somewhere in the middle?
Well, I think those are all very valid concerns. I think whenever people hear AI, they almost think of Skynet from the Terminator series,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
something that's going to take over the world and really take out the human aspect of it. And really, what I'm trying to talk to people about is that there are ways that you can integrate AI into your daily lives to help you be a more efficient and a better worker. And in my opinion, I don't really think we should be using AI to replace the human aspect of it. If anything, it should be enhancing what we do. And just something that I would like to, as an example, in engineering, we are all tasked with finding a discipline that we are experts in. And it's in our engineering code of ethics that we are to be experts in one discipline. And so, as an environmental engineer, I don't claim to be an expert in electricity. I did not do well in electricity in college. It's not my strong suit. But environmental is something that I've studied, practiced, and I feel comfortable making decisions on. Now, AI should take on that same lens. You should be using AI to support the things that you are good at. So, as a podcaster, you could use AI to summarize transcripts or even put together questions for podcasts. And the engineering field, you could use it to look at data and try and look for trends that maybe were something that you didn't notice before. But the trick is that you have to be using it in something you're already an expert in, and that's the big takeaway from that.
Interesting. Okay. So, in terms of actual AI programs, are there any specific algorithms or programs out there that are that you feel like are better to use for this industry, or do you think that the potential that you're thinking of and the applications that you're thinking of could still be derived from something like a Chat GPT or an Open AI?
Well, personally, I have a lot of experience using ChatGPT's business application, business license. It's something that I prefer to use because in the settings, you can actually control how your data is used. When it comes to using these open sourced AI platforms, whatever questions or answers you're putting into it, it could then be used to train future models. And one thing that I try and talk to people about is beware of your data privacy. Whenever you're working with clients or you're working with other people in the public, you want to protect data privacy. And so with ChatGPT's business license, I have the ability to switch off using my information to train future models. And so There are other AI platforms you can use. I know that Microsoft Copilot is getting pretty popular right now. Google also has their own AI program. And recently, ChatGPT unleashed their new Sora video
Yeah.
AI platform, which I kind of have mixed feelings about. It seems that these AI media is becoming so realistic sometimes. It's you kind of can get lost in the sauce about what's real and what's not.
Yeah, there are a lot of AI videos out there that to the untrained eye do look real now. So I can't imagine there's do you think there's any application for stuff like that within the industry for AI generated video, or what specific applications most excites you about using AI within the solid waste administration industry?
Well, I like to look back at, as a public municipal authority, we are working with limited resources. We're not like a WM or an SCS engineers. We have, like at Chester County, we only have 30 employees. And so I don't have a marketing department. I don't have, someone who could read over my social media and make sure I'm doing the right thing. And so with ChatGPT, I've been able to cut down on the amount of time that it takes me to write correspondences, analyze data. And I really feel like I have an assistant who's helping me excel at what I was doing before I got AI. And so I think in that aspect, AI can augment what people are doing in their daily activities.
For somebody, because there's a lot of kind of very veteran people within this industry, and AI is a very new concept to them. If you were going to recommend, kind of introducing this concept or beginning to look at how you could potentially incorporate this into your day to day activities, where would you recommend people kind of begin their AI journey if they're thinking about trying to make, their own life and their own job just that much easier?
Well, I think that's a very good question. And, I ended up I'm a part of the Keystone SWANA chapter here in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I've been doing AI presentations at the Keystone SWANA conference for a few years now.
Yeah, you
And
gave one just a couple months ago, correct?
yeah. And as at each of these conferences, I've tried to do a survey to learn more information about people who are attending my conference, my session. And in the first year I did this, I asked the question, how often do you use AI in your daily activities? Either every day, sometimes, or not at all. In the first year, most of the people who attended my sessions said that they didn't use AI at all. And then the next year, I asked the same survey question, and a majority of the people who showed up said that they used it sometimes or even every day. And I think that just kind of goes to show how fast AI is being integrated across the industry. Now, to someone who is older and more experienced, I think that this could be as simple as summarizing your thoughts in an email that you want to send out to people that are reporting to you. Sometimes I like to explain it as you have all these ideas in your head and you just word vomit into ChatGPT. And what it can do is then organize those ideas into a well written, articulated email that can be sent out to the people who are reporting to you. And I think that's especially critical because whenever we're communicating with others, sometimes the ideas we're trying to communicate don't come across as well because of misplaced grammar, commas, misspellings, that type of stuff. But if you put it through an AI to try and organize it or make it sound a little bit more polished, I think it can enhance the way your ideas are interpreted.
When you talk about AI use, do you feel like it's mostly on, kind of administrative tasks, or we've got a lot of other technologies kind of coming down the pipeline? I know you guys are already using drones. What AI applications, if any, are you seeing as kind of more in the field based technology applications?
Yeah, right now I'm seeing a lot of administrative tasks, like you had said. But some things that we are exploring here at Chester County is the implementation of automated landfill gas wellheads. And so we have a number of landfill gas wellheads that, whenever they apply vacuum to them, within a day or two, the methane quality just goes down, and we have like a high oxygen intake situation, which could negatively impact our operation. And what we would like to see happen is an automated wellhead that is programmed to take air quality measurements at certain intervals and then respond to that by making adjustments in the vacuum that's on that wellhead. Now, this is kind of like a blending of both AI and automation. In this case, I think we'd be setting up certain thresholds that would need to be met for whenever certain tasks are made. And I think it would be an iterative process, similar to how someone already works with ChatGPT. Oftentimes with AI, the first answer that you get out of it isn't necessarily the correct answer or the final answer you want to share.
Yeah.
So, like that, with these gas wellheads, I think it's going to take some time to work with it and make it operating in a way that is good for our gas collection system. And so we're going to need to look for trend detections and optimizations as well.
Is there any other technology coming down the proverbial pipeline that you guys are looking at?
Something that I'm looking at personally is I'm really trying to use AI to support research methodologies. Something that I've used AI most recently to do is research the 30-year history change of Pennsylvania's solid waste infrastructure. Um,
Interesting.
I ended up using AI, ChatGPT, actually, to create like a Python code. And it was a code that automated the data scrubbing from a PADEP website. And what I was looking for was township information for where landfills or solid waste infrastructure was located in. And so AI was able to help me more efficiently gather that information. And what I actually found from that research was that Pennsylvania solid waste infrastructure, the amount of landfills is shrinking, and also notably, the amount of public landfills is shrinking. And we're also consolidating into regional mega landfills. And I think this was super important because, as one of the few remaining public landfills in Pennsylvania, what are we doing correctly? What are we doing that others are not? And how can we share this information as well? And so I think AI is going to help make sure that Chester County continues to be a benchmark for other public operations.
And you specifically frame your presentation as the ethical use of AI. I think kind of quietly implying the concern for the unethical use of AI. What are your concerns in that regard?
Well, I think that's a very good point. What in the United States right now, we really lack a comprehensive ethical and regulatory framework for artificial intelligence. And so I use the example, and we had touched on this earlier about social media. On social media, there are tons of these deep fake videos and
Yeah.
AI generated media that can really, show almost realistic content that really has no oversight. And it almost seems like this technology is outpacing regulation, and it's just a slippery slope. Um, During my research for my presentation, I had looked at how the European Union was handling the AI regulation. And notably, on their website, they had said that China is using a social ranking system where they are analyzing their citizens' use of social media and then placing citizen trust scores on them so they could determine if that citizen is a good citizen or a bad citizen. And that's the slippery slope that I'm talking about. If we don't have regulations in place to protect the consumers like you and me, then where could this go? Could it be misused and used against us? It begs the question, and that's the whole point of my presentation. I think that we need to be looking at this through an ethical lens and making sure that our lawmakers understand the potential for this and keep appropriate guidelines on it along the way.
Do you have any ideas for that? I mean, obviously, when it comes to future proofing this industry, because you already said the technology is very much outpacing the regulation. Do you think that there are any kind of common sense measures that we could take here in the short term to maybe help against things like that, or is this just kind of a brave new world that we all have to be very careful in walking?
Well, I definitely feel like it's a brave new world. And as a YP, it just makes me really excited because this is something that we're kind of getting at the ground floor of. In my opinion, I think what we need to start doing at an early stage is identifying low risk AI uses versus high risk AI uses. Whenever you look at low risk stuff, I'm talking about, assisting with writing emails, maybe organizing data in a way that you can, use it better, stuff that has low risk impacts to operations. Now, on the other end, there are high risk activities that AI could be involved with. And those high risk stuff is where you have the AI making decisions without human oversight. So if you just let the AI go out and make decisions such as when to change a street light, or in the case of the landfill gas wellhead, just making changes to that gas wellhead without human oversight,
With complete autonomy, yeah.
yet now you're taking away that accountability, and those systems can operate outside their framework if they're not looked after. And so identifying low risk versus high risk, I think, is the first part of it. But I think we also need to protect data privacy as well. We need to be
Yeah.
careful about making sure that people's information is not just spread across the internet, making sure social security numbers are protected, making sure personally identifiable information isn't out there, but also making sure there's transparency. Whenever people are using I think it should be clearly labeled, and I think it should be known to the consumer that, hey, this is AI generated. And I think that helps build trust, and it also builds confidence in this technology. And it all stems from that ethical lens that I was talking about.
Yeah, you know, um, we've already talked about how the AI videos can already, in many respects, be mistaken for something that was actually recorded by a human being. But that being said, there are still, I think it's a very salient point and a very important point to drive home, that there are still very much limitations when it comes to what AI can do. And I think that oversight after the fact is probably going to be one of the key things that we're going to need to concern ourselves with.
Mhm.
Honestly, probably until the end of time. I don't know if I personally would ever be comfortable just leaving everything up to Skynet, uh, but yeah, you mentioned it yourself. Whenever you put something into Chat GPT or AI, despite the realism of those videos, a lot of the times the answers that you can get back, the first one may not be the right one. And you mentioned earlier, you in respect to broadcasting and my profession, about using AI to automatically transcript. We've actually used AI to automatically transcript. However, I have had to go back behind because there have been so many grammatical inconsistencies because the AI has interpreted what was said in a completely different syntax than what was intended, including commas and periods and capitalization where it shouldn't be, or, on the flip side to that, adding them where they didn't need to be.
Well, I think that's a
Um,
very good point, and I'm glad to hear that you're seeing the limitations of this technology.
yeah.
But we're definitely at the ground floor here, and it's really, to me as a YP, it's inspiring to see where could this technology be 10 years, 15 years from now.
Yeah. But I think there's still a ton of potential here. And obviously there's a lot of tasks that, uh, that AI can make a lot easier, especially for people whose profession is being out into the field and whose strong suit maybe not be to write those reports or create those spreadsheets. Um, but, kind of that being said, um, I think it's going to take all of us. Personally, I think it's going to take a top down effort to make sure this all gets regulated, to make sure to incorporate stuff. But I do believe that, especially considering that what you guys are doing is performing an incredibly important public service, I think the potential adoption of high level AI should be a real consideration for most people out there, because a lot of the discourse and a lot of the conversation online could be about, is AI going to replace artists? Are they going to replace people whose career is, more entertainment based, more artistic based, more for profit based? But what you guys are doing is you are, again, providing a very important and essential public service with, a lot of the time, not a lot of people behind the desk. So any way that you guys can make your jobs easier or more efficient or just better, I think should be something that is worth looking at. And for those people out there who, again, are considering this and hopefully going to join us at Archon next month to hear your presentation live, what do you think are kind of, if there was just a couple big takeaways or lessons or considerations that you want people to take with them, what do you think the kind of high level thoughts on that would be?
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, I would think that when it comes down to us as engineers, our responsibility is that we need to bring imagination and responsibility together. And we need to see value where others see waste. We need to think outside the box and use the tools in our disposal to make decisions that really impact more than just us. We're looking at infrastructure that's going to be outliving us way into the future, long after we're gone. And so I think the big takeaway is that we need to recognize that responsibility and continue to look at it through an ethical lens.
Agreed. And I really appreciate you coming on today, Chris, and talking to us about this. I think the ethical use of AI in administrative and essential services moving forward, I think, is a conversation that is just going to pick up more and more steam, especially as the technology continues to improve at a frighteningly quick pace, as it seems. So if people want to learn more about that, obviously they can join us at Archon. But outside of that, where can people kind of learn more about this or find you and find out what you guys are doing at Chester County?
Yeah, I encourage people to connect with me on LinkedIn. I try and post like once or twice a month to try and stay engaged with people. And I also encourage people to attend my session at Archon, Planning with Intelligence. I love having this conversation with people about AI and how they're using it. And I want to continue to have those conversations with people, because if we don't have those conversations, then this technology just operates in a vacuum. And we need to be open and honest about what the potential is and what it can do for the industry as a whole.
Completely agreed. And if you want to seek out Chris, last name Toevs, Toevs, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Well, once again, sir, thank you so much for joining me. Once again, congratulations on your recent promotion. Congratulations again on starting your doctorate, and congratulations one last time on receiving the SWANA Young Professional of the Year award. A very, very small group receiving that this year. But I mean, if you reach the point where you're a director of engineering by the time you're still a young professional, you've probably earned it.
Oh, well, thank you, Eric. And looking forward to meeting you at Archon in just a few weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting in person, and we can continue this conversation, and hope that some of the listeners out there choose to join us. But again, make sure to check out Chris and everything that they are doing up at Chester County, up in Pennsylvania. Go check out the disc golf course. Go talk about AI and play some disc golf, and check out the drones that they have up there at Chester County. And after you're done with that, do us a favor here at Recyclist and check out Diamond Scientific. We are, of course, a registered trademark of Diamond Scientific, an industry leader in gas analysis, instrumentation, and solutions. You can check out everything Diamond Scientific has going on online at diamondsci.com. That's diamondsci.com. Or you can set up a personalized presentation just by calling 321 223 7500. Once again, I've been your host, Eric Provost, and we will see you back here next time on another brand new episode of Recyclist. Thank you.